What's up guys, coming at you with a quick video today. I have a question from a friend of mine, which is, people are blaming my diet, what should I do? So the context of this question is, I have a friend who switched to an all raw vegan diet to improve herself athletically, and she started off the season with a 5K PR, and she's had a couple bad races. Not necessarily because of how she feels, but she does get this, big question marks about her diet because her coach is a meat and chocolate milk person, which my coach was too. So the first question is, you've got to be clear with the first answer is, you've first got to be clear with yourself who's doubting your diet. Your coach is obviously doubting your diet, but the question is, are you doubting your diet? And if so, why? Do you not feel quite right on your diet? Do you feel tired? Does something feel off? People do run deficiencies on an 80-10-10 raw vegan diet, which is why I have to ask. If you're feeling tired, you might have a B12 deficiency. Long-term people can sometimes run into thyroid issues and might need to supplement. You also living in a colder climate can have vitamin D issues. So it's really important that you're really clear on that and something's not feeling quite right. When I switched to a raw vegan diet, I didn't really do it overnight. I knew I was going toward raw foods, and when I found out how I was able to stay on a raw food diet by eating enough fruit, I thought, geez, am I really going to go 100% raw 100% of the time? How bad is cooked food really, was the question. And so what I did was I ran a number of experiments to kind of see what would happen if I went on a raw food diet for a while and then ate some, cooked sweet potato or other starch. And the experiments were always a big failure. And that's what really motivates me to stay 100% raw, to be honest. It's the experiments I did that gave myself the feedback that said, it's not the diet's fault. Because I did those experiments, I know that if I start eating starch again, that my athletic performance is going to absolutely tank on me. Because I've experienced that. It's not just because Dr. Doug Graham told me that this is going to happen. It's because, oh, that's what that is. I'm not breathing as well. I'm not moving as well. So I generally, if people have question marks about starch in their diet, I usually encourage them to run the experiment and see what happens. And some people actually feel fine after they run the experiment and don't notice a difference, and that's okay too, because everybody's body is at a different stage. And my belief is that after a period of time running certain experiments, I think that people will gravitate towards a 100% raw fruit-based diet over time. I don't think everybody needs to get there tomorrow. There are some people, on the other hand, who hear that a 100% raw vegan diet is what's best for them, and they go out and they do it, and they eat a 100% raw vegan diet 100% of the time, even if they're living in Canada. And I know guys like that who have been doing it for the last 4 years. If you do feel comfortable eating what you're eating, and the people around you don't, and they're concerned that it's decreasing your athletic performance and really harming your health, here's what I'd say. I'd say, Coach, thank you for your concerns. They're appreciated. They show that you care about me, and I appreciate that. I'm not concerned about my diet. Food makes me feel really, really good, and I'm really, really happy with the foods I'm eating. If you're concerned about my health, I'm perfectly happy to get a blood test so that you can feel safe that my diet is not harming me as well. I think that there are a lot of factors that go into a racing performance, and that it was probably some of the other ones that didn't line up for me. I don't feel like diet was one of the factors going against me. In fact, I feel like the diet was a factor working in my favor on my behalf. So that's what I'd say. But this is kind of another realm where raw food eating a raw food diet or learning how to do it in this cooked food carnivorous society is really, I think, kind of beneficial to us personally, because this kind of situation forces you first to get really clear with yourself, emotionally clear in how you feel about it, and then it helps. You have to learn how to communicate it in a way that's going to allow you to keep on doing what you want to do in a society that is very against what you want to do. And one final remark here: when people start eating a raw food diet, when you start eating a raw food diet, a lot of people are gonna freak out. It's just kind of what happens. Like, you giving up cooked food, when you started the transition, it may not have occurred to you that this is a very intense thing for a lot of people. And you're gonna just have to figure out how you're gonna make that work. And it takes time, and I think it's a really great exercise. One more final remark. I do think it is okay to experiment with cooked food. If you do experiment with cooked food, do not experiment with oils. At least don't experiment with heated oils. I don't really think that that's safe. Do potatoes boiled or steamed. You could also do the no oil bake. A whole bunch of tubers. You could do pseudo grains. I don't really recommend doing it with grains. I mean, you can experiment with grains if you want to, but I wouldn't recommend it. But I think those experiments are fine to run. And because after you run them and after you get the feedback, then if you are questioning your diet, you're not going to question it. You're going to know how certain foods make you feel, and that's why it's really, really important to run those tests. All right. Peace.